guys, it's Emily. So I realized that I haven't made a vlog in quite a while, and that's because, not many people watch my covers, let alone my vlogs, so I didn't make one for a while because I'm kind of uninteresting. But I decided to make one today so that I can talk to you guys about long-distance relationships and long-distance friendships and tips for maintaining them. A lot of the time with long-distance relationships, especially when you're young and you don't have like a job or money or your license, it makes visits very difficult, and visits are a really important part of long-distance relationships and long-distance friendships, because it helps maintain the connection. But this is why Skype is a good thing. So if you are in a long-distance relationship and you don't have Skype, I really recommend getting it and telling the other person to get it, because you can just, like, even if it's only seeing them over a screen, you can still communicate, and it's kind of like they're there, unless you have bad internet connection, in which case it's like all pixels and stuff, but it's still nice. And especially if it's long distance and you can't call them over the phone because it will cost you too much, Skype is a really good thing because it's free, and the only thing it'll eat up is your bandwidth, if you have bandwidth, which I think everyone does. Some people claim to not have bandwidth. I think that's bullshit. Anyways, Skype is really good, because it helps, like, you get to see each other. Now, if you're in a long distance relationship, try and set up like a Skype date. So, like, watch a movie over Skype or something. So, like, if you have Netflix, or if there's a movie, like, that you have and they have it too, then you can, like, count down while you're on a Skype call and time it so that you play the video at the same time, or the movie at the same time, and then you can watch the movie together and talk about it afterwards. Now, that works in any situation. If there's not a huge time difference, or if there's no time difference between where you are and where the other person is, then you could also do a dinner date, which I think is really cute. I've never done it because I'm not in a long distance relationship right now, but basically you could just put your laptop or whatever recording device you have that you're using to Skype on the table, and set the table up all nice, and they can set their table up too and do the same thing, and then you can have dinner together, which I think is really sweet. Another tip that I have for long-distance relationships and long-distance friendships is to make a plan to meet each other at some point. Now, you should do this, like, as soon as you meet. Not as soon as you meet, but, like, as soon as you start talking and you're like, hey, this relationship or this friendship is going really well. Do you want to meet up sometime? And if you're living at home, or if you don't have a job or a car, like I mentioned before, then this can be difficult, so it might take a while. Like, for me, I'm 15, so before I'll be able to meet any of my online friends that live in America, it's probably gonna take me 3 years, unless I happen to convince my parents to take me on a vacation to wherever the hell my friends are, which I don't think will happen anytime soon. Now, another thing that is really important is to make sure your parents know who you're talking to. And I know some people's parents aren't okay with their kids having long-distance friendships, and especially long-distance relationships. Like, my parents have a big problem with that too. But I make sure I let them know anyways, because if your parents know from, like, when you first start talking to this person, if your parents know about them, then by the time you guys get a little bit more serious, or by the time you've known each other for longer, you're not just bringing up this random person that they've never heard of before. They will actually know who it is, and they'll be a lot more likely to say yes to going to visit them. Another tip is don't talk too much. And I know that seems really hard because, like, you're so intrigued and you really want to know more about this person. But if you talk too much, you will end up knowing everything about them in like a few weeks, and then you won't have anything to talk about. Now, I'm sure, like, small talk, like, what did you do today? That's still fine, but there's nothing else that you can find out about them. I mean, like, me, I seem boring, but there's a lot of stuff that people don't know about me, and I keep that in all my friendships and all my relationships, like, even the ones that are close to me, because it keeps people interested, right? So, like, even my friends around here will get bored of me if they know everything about me. So it's not like I'm hiding anything from them, but I do try and keep a few things, quiet for a bit. Not anything major. If there's anything major, like, and you trust the person, then you should tell them, because it's not good to keep major things from people. But I think it's really important to not tell them everything within the first week that you start talking, because then they will get bored of you, and then they will have less interest of talking to you every day. As an example, my friend Aaron and I have known each other for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in the summer. Him and I were in a long-distance relationship for around a month and a half, I think. I don't know, you can ask him. I'll link his channel in the description. He counted. But I couldn't do a long-distance relationship at that point, because first of all, I was young, so it probably wasn't the best for me anyways. Second of all, just because the distance thing is a lot for me. I get lonely very, very easily, and I don't know what's wrong with me, but if I'm not around people, like, I become, like, very upset, and that makes me sound really needy. But it's just that I'm the kind of person that has to be, like, around people and around my friends and stuff because it makes me feel good, and it's one of the only things that does actually make me feel a bit better and make me feel a bit happy. Now, Skyping, again, is pretty good for that, except it's not the same as having them here. I can't do long-distance relationships, but I can do long-distance friendships. Now, I have a lot of friends in America, scattered all across America, and I've had some that have lost interest in me, and I have some that I'm still friends with today, like Aaron. Aaron and I have been friends, like I said, for almost 3 years. My friend Brianna and I have been friends for almost 2 years, I think. I have other friends. I'm not gonna list them all because I have quite a few. But I think if you really like the person and you really want to be with them, or you really want to spend time with them, if you get to know them for a while, it may take a long time, it may take a few years, hell, it may take like a few months if you're lucky, but it will take time. And I mean, like, hell, if they live close to you, if they live like in the next state over, or the next province over in my case, then who knows, maybe you can end up meeting them sooner rather than later. That's not always the case, sadly, but I believe that if you really, really, really have interest in this person, then things will work out. And if you follow the tips that I've given, and there's also like billions of tips on the internet and stuff, but I've selected a few of the ones that I think are the most helpful, things will work out and things will be okay. And if you hit a rough patch, I mean, like, in your relationship and the distance is an issue, just keep reminding yourself, saying, you know what, the distance isn't always going to be an issue. Even if it seems like a lie. Whenever I get upset because I can't see my friends because they live far away, I always think, you know what, distance isn't an issue. I'm not going to let it interfere with my relationship with this person. In the case that you have friends that you have met before but have moved away, it's not as hard because there's a chance that they might come back and visit you, or you can always go visit them if they're not too far away. And the fact that you were friends before helps maintain a really strong friendship too, because you have met them and you know what they're like, and you know, like, you know, all the stuff that they like. Not all the stuff, of course, like I said, don't talk too much. But my friend Lisa, I met her the summer after grade 8, so that was almost 2 years ago, and we hung out quite a bit, and she moved to Alberta, I believe, and we still keep in touch, not as much as I'd like to, but we still keep in touch, and she's gonna come visit. And I have another friend, Cassandra, and she was going to my school for a bit, and she moved to Quebec, I think, and we still keep in touch, and she's also gonna come visit. Just try your hardest to maintain the friendships, and on the bright side, worst case scenario, if you happen to be like, okay, this friendship isn't working, then you don't have to worry about them coming to murder you or something if you get in a giant argument because they live so far away. Now, something my parents were concerned about, this is kind of off topic, but something that my parents were really concerned about me talking to Americans, is that she was saying, oh, they might not be who they say they are. And I'm like, Mother, I've Skyped with them, it's fine. And she's like, well, what if they stalk you? And I'm like, Mom, really, I don't think that someone is going to come all the way to Canada just to stalk me. And if they do, they're my friends, so it's okay, it's not as weird. But, you know, a lot of parents aren't understanding of long-distance relationships and friendships, and you know what, that's okay. They'll come around. I know they will. My parents, they're still a bit iffy on it, but they will come around. Eventually, I hope. I believe in you. That's my rant, so...
Even when you just walk by, well, I look around.